I want to remind everyone too, especially those moving forward as inspectors, is that unless you're an architect or a licensed engineer, professional engineer, those are the only two people, or folks with those titles, that are able to dictate the structural integrity of the house with authority. Now, with that being said, because that conversation, in some cases, lets inspectors feel like they have no power of observations, and I think we can all agree on this. If a foundation wall is caving in, it's a pretty safe assessment that the wall is not good, and it's those obvious situations that anybody can see that, any one of our children or grandchildren, that pretty much are older than, 8 years old could make that assumption that house's basement wall is not good if you see it caving in. And what often happens is those obvious situations, everyone sees those circumstances. It's the subtle early conditions that really put the inspector's powers of observation to task. And that's where things get a little dicey. That's where our humble professional opinion gets challenged. And that's where a lot of times, depending on when you show up at that house party, and the house party I'm talking about is the home inspection, depending on when you show up to that party and what's going on when you're there, it's how astute are your powers of observation, knowing that your observations are limited to what you see at the time of the inspection, and knowing full well, as for those of you that took the standards of practice session, we talk about that the home inspection is detailing the condition of the house at the time of the inspection without concern for what happened before, what's happening now that's hidden, and what's going to happen tomorrow. But you know what? With those three said items, I assure you that every inspector is trying to think outside the box, and every good inspector is trying to determine what did happen yesterday, what might be happening today that might not be fully visible or self-evident, which is a term the ASHI standards of practice share with us, or what could happen tomorrow. And those are the things that with structure, and this is why, for those of you that attended our field training session this weekend, and we got to see some new construction, we got to see the true bones of the house. And even then, it wasn't fully visible at the stage that we saw some of the homes. There was insulation in the ceiling, and we couldn't see everything, perfectly, but we could see enough. And knowing that a lot of those things are not fully taken care of in those early stages, and then that neglect often can translate to issues in regards to the house condition down the road. And those are things to keep in mind.